Arguing for the end of adult marijuana prohibition is easy because we have facts, science, reason, compassion, evidence, truth, and logic on our side. It is even easier when researchers catalog it all for us. Learn how to gather the facts on marijuana use, arrests, seizures, rehabs, drug tests, and more in this edition of Drug War Data Mining. Welcome back, everyone. 22 after the hour. We're continuing to break down the marijuana election night 2014 and some of the inside numbers that weren't reported immediately. And today we take a look at the state of Florida, where their Amendment 2 for medical marijuana did not pass by the constitutional level of 60%, but garnered 57.57% of the vote of the state of Florida. A clear 15-point majority in support of medical marijuana. I thought it would be instructive to take a look at the exit polling on Florida's medical marijuana amendment. This comes from NBC News Politics Division. Their Florida Amendment 2, the breakdown in support for Amendment 2 was 60% male support, 56% women support. So interesting that men, if the vote was completely up to men, there would be medical marijuana today in the state of Florida. But the age group, I think, is the most illustrative polling number that we've got out of these exit polls. Look at this support between 18 to 29-year-olds. 4 out of 5 people under the age of 30 in Florida support medical marijuana. 4 out of 5. And age 30 to 44, it's damn near 2 out of 3. We've got super majorities from age 45 and younger that were in support of this amendment. And even age 64 and 45 to 64 supported it at 60%. Given this breakdown, as we noted earlier, it is only retirees who opposed medical marijuana in the state of Florida. Ironically, the group of citizens in Florida who would probably have benefited the most from medical marijuana opposed it 3-2, 38% support. Now, the totals here on the side are how much that age group makes up in the population. So the retirees are a quarter of the population there in the state of Florida, and thus had a lot of ability to drag down the vote with respect to medical marijuana. A more detailed breakdown of age groups will show us that, again, 18 to 24, your college-aged people, 83% support. After college age, postgraduate age, 25 to 29, 75% support. Support continues to decline as you get to the higher age groups. But even people aged 50 to 64 nearly were in, the constitutional level of support of 60%, and were still a great majority of support for Florida's medical marijuana. 65 and older, again, the retiree age group, are the only groups, is the only group that stood in opposition. Now, scrolling down just a little bit more, we find the racial breakdown in Florida showed us that white people helped to keep Florida from becoming medical marijuana. Black support was at 69%, Hispanic Latino support at 60%. And breaking that further down by gender and race, we see it was mostly white women who drugged down the support amongst white people for the legalization of medical marijuana. Black men in overwhelming support, nearly 4 out of 5. Cuban descent had a big effect on the voting for medical marijuana. As folks may know, southern Florida has a large demographic of Cuban descent. 1 out of 20 people in Florida is of Cuban descent, and they supported medical marijuana only at a 52% rate compared to 58% statewide for non-Hispanic descent, and 66% among other Hispanics. That would be Latin Americans, Central Americans, Mexican Americans, and so forth. 2 out of 3 among other Hispanics. So once again, the conservatism of Florida's Cuban population showing in the exit polling on medical marijuana. Liberals, of course, were overwhelmingly in support of medical marijuana in the state of Florida. Moderates, 2 out of 3, just about 65%. And among conservatives, about 2 out of 3, 3 out of 5 closer, were in opposition to medical marijuana. So far it is older white or Cuban conservatives that killed medical marijuana in Florida, other than $4 million from Sheldon Adelson. Party breakdown, very similar to the ideological breakdown. 71% support among Democrats, 65% support among independents, 40% support among the state's Republicans. Looking at party by gender, again, similar breakdowns. Republican